2 weeks, roughly.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm riding that bandwagon right into the grand final at this point, so hopefully it doesn't crash early.
Let's hope so. Let's hope not. All right, with that out of the way, let's get on to some AFLW now. Mate, it's not the result we wanted for the Catters. We are alive. I love that we're still alive in some form. The Cats, unfortunately, after a really strong start, went down to North Melbourne, 3 goals 4-22 to 4 goals 7-31. It was we were flying, especially Michaela Bowen early doors, 2 goals, little pocket rocket she is, and Georgie Prasparkas was killing it too. In the disposals, Georgie, 26 touches, Nina Morrison with the 22, and Gunjaka with the 19 as well. But yeah, it was all about North really after that first half. Eddie with the 3 goals, 1 there. Randall with the 1 goal, 1, and Jennifer Garner. Garner with the 1 with the 1 goal, 1. And the 32, and King with the 25, and Riddell with the 22. They were really North was fantastic in the second half. You had the feeling that
it was the old game of 2 halves.
Yeah, pretty much, wasn't it? It was. We looked fantastic, and everything was just flowing for us. And the Port fans, the Port fans came en masse too to Kardinia Park, but they were so salty, and I was letting them know all about it as well. And then we moved because a couple of them were annoying us too much, and then I was glad we did because the second half wasn't great.
You want to hear it?
No, I tell you what, goodness me, it wasn't ideal. Hello, Brandon. How you going, mate? Thank you for joining us on the show. But yeah, it was unfortunately the second half didn't go the way we wanted. I did notice, and I didn't see it in the match report, but Meg McDonald did limp off in that last quarter there, and I thought, it doesn't look great, and don't think she came back on. So when we really needed a goal there, or at least to sort of open things up, and she was one of our better players all night. She was probably close to.
Well, leads by example as the captain, of course.
Yeah. So she was
the
great.
Last 6 minutes of the game off.
Yeah. She wasn't the best on ground. We did the poll as we always do for the Roll of Honour, and this week it went to Georgie Prasparkas again. 2 weeks out of 3. She's got to be up there. I don't know do they call it the Brownlow? They don't call it the Brownlow clearly, but I'm not sure what they're calling it. Maybe they haven't settled on a name for the medal yet for the best and fairest.
No, they haven't yet. I can't remember the exact name, but no, it's just the best and fairest at the moment.
It's got to be the Erin Phillips medal or something like that in a few years' time, maybe when she hangs up the boots, something like that. But yeah, it was a bit of it was a frustrating one because I thought, here we go. I went on a limb, Paul, and this absolutely wrecked my footy tipping. But I went out on a limb and I said the Cats are going to win by 40. And
you said that last week, and I laughed at you.
Yeah, it was looking great at halftime. Here we go, 3 goals up. We just got to double that now, and don't you worry. I would have been all over it on the social, letting everyone know about it. But it wasn't meant to be.
Plenty to learn from, though. I think they still showed. I mean, the second half was poor, but I think they showed that they are up to it with the best teams. It's just the arresting momentum thing. I think the Cats girls haven't necessarily been in a position where they could be, arguably the best team on the field consistently. And so what do you do when all of a sudden an opposition comes back at you? They're the team that for years since they've been brought into the comp has had to chase or has kind of been a weaker team, whatever the case happened to be. And the last couple of seasons we're starting to push up there and be really competitive. And I'd probably argue, despite the loss on the weekend, we are right up there, up to our eyeballs. And so what happens when you're kind of leading comprehensively and then the opposition comes at you? And that's they're lessons that they're going to learn for sure, because they've not really had to deal with that too much yet.
No, and look, North, we all knew North was a great team.
North great.
They had percentage of 500 and something before coming into this one. I still felt like we were going to get the win because it's 2 games. It was at that point it was 2 games in, and I thought, well, especially the way we started, I thought, here we go. They can't even get it. They can't even get on the board. They didn't kick a goal until the second half. But yeah, they just proved they were too good. They just made the changes necessary and they got the job done. But that's okay. Look, we move on to round 4 now. We're off to Alberton Oval in South Australia to take on Port Adelaide. Take on the Power, and I think we'll be okay. The Power did get a win this afternoon, their first win of the season, but I think Geelong goes into this one as favourites. We've never actually played each other before, funnily enough, so this will be the first time. I think Port was just came into the comp last year, from memory, one of the last teams to come in. So, yeah, And they finished 17th last season, so you'd imagine they'd be slightly better this year. But I'm not, just off the back of one win. I'm not rating them too highly. I think they might have lost to the Saints. Another one that wrecked my tips. Everyone's wrecking my tips. I was flying at one stage, and now I'm mid-table in the national comp. But anyway, what are you going to do? It's frustrating. Now, I did have a mailbag question lined up, but I haven't uploaded the graphic, which is really stupid. So let me see if I can find it. So just
I'll vamp. We'll just put the song on again and get a bit more dancing going for the Giants, and that'll buy all the time that we need, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'll keep rambling about the girls though. In the meantime, yeah, you'd like to think that they'll get the job done on the weekend. Port are absolutely getting there. It was a good win that they had on the weekend, but they are still a little bit off the pace. In terms of their development, they do obviously have a certain gun on their team there. In Erin, of course, having jumped ship.
She's amazing.
And so with her on the team, you can't rule anything out, but you would like to think that the job gets done. Interesting to see Rach Danders in the comments there. Wiley Buzzer at the VFL yesterday.
Yeah, he was great.
Well, his name was great.
His name was great. I did like the guy, but unfortunately, I think he went to Port for a little bit too, didn't he? And then might have been it, but
no, sorry. Did he go to Brisbane?
I thought he went to Port Adelaide.
Maybe it was.
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get
Brandon's question. Who do we go for in the finals? The Giants.
Oh, the Giants. Well, who do I want to see? I still probably want to see the Collingwood Carlton grand final. I still want that. I would love to see.
Unreal.
I would love to see a Carlton GWS grand final. I tell you what, I don't want to see is a Brisbane GWS grand final. I don't want to see that. No thanks.
Yeah, the old interstate grand finals.
No, thank you very much. No good. All right, so I do have the mailbag question up when it loads. It's from Jared, and I'll get it there eventually. Here we go. Jared the Fox, one of our Patreon members, by the way. Who would you like to get in this trade period for the Cats, and who do you think is a realistic chance of coming to the Cats? I'll let you try and answer this one first, mate.
Me. Holy shit. Okay. I guess it is one of those real hard things because, who do I want? Well, geez, you can throw a blanket over a bunch of absolute guns in the comp that you'd love to get, but then who's actually feasible is a whole other thing. So I think it's more about kind of addressing needs. And so I guess for the Cats, we've really got to focus on the midfield, I think. That's the deficiency at the moment. So players that fit that bill. I mean, let's just grab Tom Green. Why not? Let's just go get Tom Green from GWS. He might be playing in a grand final next week, but he'll be good to move. No worries.
Well, I want Ollie Lord. It's not going to happen, but I'd love to have a bit of Ollie Lord action in the Radagalia trade. Thank you very much. I was pretty keen on Grundy, but it doesn't sound like he's even giving Geelong a thought. Now. Yeah, it's pretty much all happening. So it feels like the Geelong, the destination club tag that we had, I don't think that's happening this year. I think we might have a year where we just
we touched on it. I can't remember if we actually touched on it during the show or maybe afterwards last week. But I mean, the Cats have got to start being mindful of what's to come in the next couple of years. And we obviously hear for Carlton, for example, the Camporeale twins are pretty close, and they'll be looking to stack the deck with picks and points to be right to go for next year. And the Cats have got to start thinking about the same things because we're going to start seeing the kids from Cam Mooney, Dasher Milburn, all of them. I mean, it was so heavily documented back in the day that they were all just having boys for a long stretch of time there. You're like, okay, well, if they inherit even an ounce of their parents' footy skills, then that's going to bode pretty well for the Cats going forward. And I mean, these boys are going to start making their way through pretty soon. So who knows? Some of them, obviously, I mean, with thankfully the way that the AFLW comps built up in recent years too. Some of their girls, though admittedly there's not too many. I think the ratio was very much they were just churning out boys, all the players for a while there. But some of the girls that have come along too, fantastic chance to potentially crack it in the AFLW too. It'd be awesome to see. But yeah, we've got to start bankrolling points for that. So,
friend of the channel, Kate Darby, we've got to get. I think she's got a little one, so a little girl. So.
Bring on board.
Come on, let's go.
What is the mother son number of games played
exactly.
to qualify?
A few other mums in the team as well. But let's all get them ready to go. Let's build that academy and mother daughters.
Actually, out of interest, and for anyone in the chat who's watching and knows an answer to this, we've obviously long had the father son. Is father daughter a thing? Like, can someone's daughter get drafted in the AFLW because their dad played for Geelong? Like, is that a thing? I've got no idea at this point. So if anyone's watching and knows that answer, please clarify for me. It'd be
that
could bode well for
really
the Cats
hard
too.
to get. It's really hard to get information about AFLW full stop. Like I was on AFL Tables the other day. It's a website which you get all the stats. I'm like, okay, so where's the AFLW section? Doesn't exist. I'm like, come on, I want to do some research on some AFLW games and for the tipping and for the show and all that. But just, it's unfortunately it doesn't exist at the moment. So what can you do? Mate, Jared, thanks for that. As I said, one of our loyal, for a long time now, actually, Patreon supporters. And if you want to join us on Patreon, if you want to support the channel, I think we've got the link in the show notes as well. So thank you. And look, mate, I think that'll do for another Sunday night on the show. A big thank you to you, Paul. Fantastic as always. Another stellar performance from yourself. And finally, a sincere thank you to everyone who's watched tonight and joined us on the chat and commented and all that and engaged with us. Thank you very much. If you're feeling generous, hit that like button. If you want to share the video with your friends, that'd be great as well. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button because we are getting close, Paul, to 1,000. I want to get to 800, and I'll feel good when we get there. And then it's just all downhill from there, isn't it?
So before we do wrap it up, because we've spoken about who we want to make it, who do you think? Like, what are your tips for this week?
Okay. All right. Me
so
first.
Pies, Giants.
Pies. Yeah, I think the Pies will get that job done.
Yeah. I think unfortunately that's where the Giants' run comes to an end. But I would happily be wrong.
10 points. I think it'd be close.
But a bit like Pommy, I'm tipping a Brisbane choke.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Collingwood Carlton grand final. What are we going to do if that happens?
Shut it all down. Shut it all down. We'll need multiple public holidays just for the grand final parade.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to think about what I'm going to do grand final day if that happens. I might get a ticket.
Duck and cover is what you need to do.
Duck and cover. So you come into a ticket somehow.
Wave our little flag saying we're reigning premiers for as long as we possibly can. Hold it on.
Well, we still are reigning premiers, everyone.
Exactly.
We are reigning premiers
until that final siren goes on grand final day and all things going well. There's a draw and we get one more week of it.
And then we're still moral reigning premiers anyway, as far as I'm concerned.
We've become the Poms.
Like the English cricket team have still won the Ashes. So thank you, Paul. We'll say goodbye. As we always say when we say goodbye. Thank you for watching. And remain strong and go Cats. See everyone. Take care.